Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. A fascinating show. We are talking, of course, about the resignation of U.S. Attorney Jim Letten, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and our guest this afternoon is Attorney Tim Meche. He's a legal analyst, and we're really learning so much about this case and what's going on. And we have some viewer questions here, so we want to get to those. Naomi asks from Facebook, she says, why should this office be important to the general public? Why should the general public care about this office and what's happening?
Well, the federal prosecutor for the Eastern District of Louisiana prosecutes federal crimes. Primarily, they're the office who prosecutes corrupt public officials. And the reason for that is, in Louisiana, we give very limited authority to our state prosecutors to do so. For instance, we're one of the few states in the United States that has an attorney general who does not have the power or the authority under the state constitution to prosecute political corruption cases. That duty falls squarely to the U.S. attorney. He's the only one who could do. I guess a local district attorney could do it, but they rarely do because of politics. So it's an incredibly important office, and it's important that we have somebody competent in that office.
Right.
Mr. Letten was competent.
Right, and as we mentioned, that is a position to which you are appointed. So the question is, what happens now? Because we were talking earlier, and the position is vacant. We don't know what's going to happen. Senator Mary Landrieu could make a recommendation. Is that likely to happen? Or?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, politics does play a role in what happens here. Traditionally, all federal jobs, including the U.S. attorney, were subject to political patronage. Essentially, the way it works is the lead United States senator of the party who the president occupies the White House makes a recommendation to the president, and the president makes appointments. Quite frankly, in the past, some people appointed to these positions have not been competent. They've been political people who've been in political favor with the United States senator. Approximately 2 decades ago, a trend started where Washington would make sure certain cities in the United States, high media profile cities where there was a strong need to prosecute political corruption, had competent career prosecutors. When George Bush was president in Houston, they appointed a career prosecutor. Mr. Letten also was a career prosecutor. I'm hopeful that when Ms. Landrieu makes recommendations to President Obama, it will be somebody with criminal law background. Quite frankly, some of the names that have been bandied about are people who've never set foot in a federal criminal courtroom.
But do you think that Washington will be perhaps even more involved this time around than they have been in the past? Absolutely.
Washington is very concerned. They sent down 2 people. One, they appointed an assistant U.S. attorney from Virginia to head the office now. I predict he'll be there for quite a while. They want to clean that office up. They also appointed an assistant U.S. attorney from Atlanta to come in and investigate the blogging and the Jan Mann situation, especially as it relates to the Danziger Bridge case. I suspect that Washington will tightly control this office for a while.
Well, bring us up to date, because how does this now affect the Danziger case?
Currently, there is a motion pending before Judge Engelhardt for a new trial. The attorneys in the Danziger Bridge case allege that defendants did not get a fair trial because of the atmosphere created by the anonymous blogging. The judge ordered the new appointee from Atlanta to issue him a report by the end of the month. Once he issues the report, the judge will determine whether there should be additional hearings in the case, and eventually he'll rule on the motion for a new trial.
Wow, interesting. Wow. And how far-reaching? I guess that's the thing, is we don't know how far-reaching this really is.
No, it could involve other cases. I mean, everybody who's represented defendants is studying the Perricone and Jan Mann blogs, and we don't know if others in the office were doing it. Supposedly there will be an investigation, and supposedly it will be made public, and maybe we'll learn how far-reaching it was.
Yeah.
The report that was done, did it? Can you tell me if the other assistant attorneys, district attorneys, or U.S. attorneys were asked if they participated in this, and they've all denied it so far?
We don't know. The original Jan Mann report was not released to the public. It's currently under seal. I haven't seen it, and if I had, I wouldn't be allowed to talk about it. In Judge Engelhardt's report, he did refer to the testimony of an assistant U.S. attorney who said that he alerted numerous supervisors within the office that he suspected this activity was going on. That's in Judge Englehart's report, which I understand you're going to post on your website.
Yeah, we will.
And
put it on jrpoa.com or johnredmannpoa.com.
So there is an allegation that others within the office were, if not complicit, knew that this was going on.
Is there anything in particular that just really astounds you when you look into the details of this case? I mean, I know there's so much in that report which John is going to post, but is there anything in particular that really stands out to you?
Yeah, just psychologically speaking, I wonder how Jan Mann, knowing full well that she had also engaged in this activity, what was going through her mind when she sat in court right next to Jim Letten when he read that statement that neither he nor her knew anything about this,
right.
Quote, that is the gospel truth. And then when she was assigned the task of doing the internal investigation, what was going through her mind knowing that she herself had done that, but yet she had to obviously not put that in her report? How can somebody do that? I don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
She probably thought she's going to lose her job. Can she hold on just a little longer? You know, I mean, just the kind of mental gymnastics that she must have been going through.
It's a very interesting. Yeah.
It really is, and we're running quickly out of time here, but before we go, you know, we were talking this whole question of social media and what you put out there. It just seems like, you know, people can get themselves into some serious trouble, perhaps not realizing that they are doing so, but in fact, what you put out there, it's out there, and once it is, who knows who can have access to it, and really, you know, to what extent it can affect your own life. And certainly when they were putting this information out there, the motivation potentially to sway public opinion, what was the motivation? I guess that's a question that has yet to be answered.
Mr. Perricone was interviewed not just within the judge's chambers, and he referred extensively in his opinion to what he said, but also in a New Orleans Magazine article that I think was published in July or August of 2012. And he indicated that he was, it was his way of relieving stress. Usually late at night, that was his way of, you know, in effect, blowing off steam and relieving his stress. Maybe he and Miss Mann will make additional comments as to what motivated them to do that. I don't know.
Well, I just want to add to that, and for our viewers out there, and if you're thinking of blowing off stress and you want to go on Facebook or any social media and say things that you don't have any objection to having other people see, potential employers, people who are looking to hire you. These days, employers, especially if it's a security job, you want to get a job doing security at the airport, but people in general, nowadays, apparently, people will check you out and they will see what you have written at any time in the past, or photos you have posted, or your friends will post pictures of you having a little too much fun, hanging out and partying in the local bar scene. Those things, your past will come back to haunt you. So use discretion. Better to not hit that return button and hit send, because it can cost you that job you want to get. Right. And advise your kids, be very careful.
Right. And if it is a stress reliever, find another way to relieve that stress. It has just been a great pleasure having you on the show, learning more about this case. Thank you so very much. Attorney Tim Meche, who of course is a legal analyst. We are unfortunately all out of time, but thank you so much for being with us today. Be sure to join us the same time next week when we will delve into another hot topic, legal topic. Thanks so much.
Thanks to Tim. Thanks to you all. Remember, you can follow the show on Twitter and on Facebook, and you can get in touch with us by email. Make sure to check out jrpoa.com for more information on all the subjects we talk about on the show and to watch past episodes. We'll be off next week for Christmas, so everybody please have a safe and happy holiday.